Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate for basic human rights for all people. More concerned that you, the people, in your bodies, during this day and at this time, experience the best life that is humanly possible, meaning peace, prosperity, and joy for each of you, which basically boils down to you having access and the ability to use to your discretion unlimited and unrestricted education, unlimited and unrestricted health care, and a career of your choosing from the womb to the tomb. And when each of you have the opportunity to express that, it comes together like hand in a glove. It truly is the completion of a puzzle. And when we're able to do this, we will see that we as a people are able to create, build, and establish an abundance of goods and services to the degree that each of us can take from it what we desire, whatever it is that we desire. And our lives can be full and complete. That is essentially the basic principle for holding the humanity together in such a way that they can live without war, that they can live without poverty, that they can live without despair. And ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you today that we are living in a system where they are trying to eradicate the basic principle for such as that to stand. We are living in a time where you, the people, have been dumbed down to just want to enjoy life without any thought. You just want it to be handed down to you. But I want to impress upon you, ladies and gentlemen, that the conditions of the world is not foreign. It is something that happened not accidentally, not by a big bang. It happened because we, the people, are so controlled and we are so without the wisdom and understanding of life that we have input ourselves in the expression that has been dictated to us in such a way that we have poverty, we have crime, we have war, we have pain. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not going anywhere. You know, sometimes you've been told about a devil, but I want you to know the only devil that we truly understand, the only devil that we know has two legs just like you, two hands just like you, two eyes just like you, two nostrils just like you, and has a true expression of humanity. In other words, all of the evil that is perpetrated in this society comes from man. Now we talk about good. And when we talk about good, you expect somebody to rain a miracle out of the air, that you can reap all of the good benefits that I've just mentioned to you without inputting. No, ladies and gentlemen, the pain and suffering, we did it. Any good that is going to happen in the society, we got to do it. And if we don't do it, then so much evil can overcome us until we eradicate ourselves from the face of the earth. You have heard of those who call themselves as preachers who are here to teach you about God. But I want you to know, and I've said it before, and I'm saying it to you again, no one can say they love God when they don't love you. No one can be concerned about saving your soul when they're not concerned about your life. I want you to know that the Creator, because this earth did not come, this reality, the trees, the food, and all the stuff in the order that it is established did not come from a big bang. It came from thought. It came from planning. And the only difference between our evolvement and that of nature is this. Nature doesn't really have a choice. The pen was put to the mat and it was drawn out and nature responds to it. Our physical being was put to the mat and we unfolded such. But was given one specific attribute that nature was not. And that is choice. We choose. We can choose to let our hair go gray, or we can choose to dye it. We can choose to go to bed, or we can choose to stand up. We can choose to participate in the creating the manifestation of a wonderful life, or we can choose to create a hell. We, my friends, have the power to create anything that we want. But there is a power which is in us that has been fed to us since mankind has been on this earth, of hate, malice, and all of the negatory things you can think of. And they keep us divided. They keep us divided in politics. We have Republican, Democrat, and all these things, and we're at odds with one another. We have religion. You have Catholicism. You have Protestantism, and you got all these various churches representing each. And you know what? They're at odds with one another. And they're all talking about a God of love, but they cannot come together. It is the not being able to come together that lets you know it does not represent God. So how and why can you continue to stay in these things when it does not work for you? You do it because you do not know any better. You are as dumb as I used to be. And the reason that I am not dumb now is because the Father looks at us. And the Father recognizes, and I'm talking about our Heavenly Father, I'm not talking about your dad, I'm talking about the Heavenly Father, looks at us and recognizes that not of our own doing. Somebody has interjected a bad programming in society. And that programming is killing us and destroying us. And because of the Father's love, He finds one or two of us and suck us out and give us an expression that is undoubtedly recognition of the hand of God. And when God does that, our lives are no longer our lives. Our lives belong to the one who directed us, that gave us the vision. Our lives belong to God, which means our lives belong to you. Our lives are committed to teach you truth, the truth that works for Republicans and Democrats, the truth that works for Catholicism and Protestantism, the truth that works for men, the truth that works for women, the truth that works for one state and works for another state, the truth that works for humankind. And ladies and gentlemen, I have dedicated my life for the past 13 years to make sure that every day I'm studying as a social scientist, I'm studying as a child that is chosen by the Master to give you certain information so that you can live. Today over in Minneapolis, I understand Mayor Ryback is in Washington, and he's supposed to be talking to the president about other matters, he and other mayors. But he is going to bring up the conversation about what the federal government can do to help North Minneapolis, who just experienced the effects of a major thunderstorm. Now, the reason that he is doing this is because FEMA came down and viewed all of the happenings and determined that North Minneapolis was capable to be repaired by the effects of the city, state, and other associated corporations. And that's that. But you who've lost your homes, you who had your property destroyed, your cars, those of you who had your family members and your friends and your relatives to die, you know that some of you don't even have insurance, and some of you have the insurance that's so minimal, you'll be good just to get a frame of a home. And the things that you had, you're just devastated. A few weeks ago, I had a meeting. And I called, it was a meeting of basic human rights for all people, which is my ministry. And I called all the mayors together that I could reach. I called the councilmen from these various cities. Opened the meeting up for state politicians. I did so for the federal politicians of the state of Minnesota. I asked the people who were suffering, I asked people who had lost their homes to come to this meeting, because what I wanted to show to you, it was to talk to you and offer to you a strategy that you, the people, could employ and be the masters of your own fate, and the master of your fate that was worked in such a way that you would be thrilled to be alive. Not just because you're afraid to die, but because their life is transformed in such a wonderful life. But you know, the politicians from the city, the state, or the federal government failed to come. The preachers from all of these churches who love you so much and trying to save your soul failed to come. I don't see why they didn't come. They've been doing what they've been doing all the time since they've been doing it, and yet all the problems that we are aware of and familiar with, they still exist. They're not working. So my effort was to offer something that was new. If somebody came to me and told me they knew something new that would work for what I'm trying to accomplish, you think I wouldn't go? I'd be there in a heartbeat, because I want to know what I don't know that will work for the goals and objectives that I pursue. Yet, I couldn't get any of them to come. What does it mean? Does that mean that they think they know it all and not smart enough to know that what they know is not good enough? Are they just so divided because they are saying that who am I and how can I tell them anything? Is that the case? Ladies and gentlemen, you are going through pain. You are going through suffering. You need somebody to take care of you, to help you take care of yourself. You don't have time for somebody out there with some prejudices that will keep us divided. And you have to stand up. Let me tell you something. In order to get the politicians to stand up, in order to get these preachers to stand up, I don't care what a preacher told you about what God told him. In fact, he won't even be telling you that. The first thing he'll tell you is what his Bible said. And if God has not touched him, if God is not leading him, he has no understanding whatsoever of what those words in the Bible mean. But I want to tell you, but there is power in the Almighty. There's power that's all out here. It's in the air. It's everywhere. It's like the audio waves that you cannot see, or you can't even hear them until you tune in right. They're like the visual waves out here that you cannot see until you're tuned in right. But they're there nonetheless. And the truth is out here for everybody who has the heart that can tune in and recognize that truth. But truth is not just given to people just so they can know truth. Truth is given to people for a service. You have the right, you have the responsibility, you have the obligation to take truth and put it across the land so people can benefit from it. But regardless of how much truth you have, you cannot force people to choose truth. And when people have been beat down, worn down, and given a life so devastating against truth, they reject truth. And ladies and gentlemen, just so I can make sure you get this whole message, I'm going to end this and call it part 1 of In My Father's House. And I'm going to come right back with part 2.